Earlier in Hallie Jackson's report, Donald Trump is prominently featuring his desire for revenge, a longtime hallmark of his political identity, as part of his closing message to prospective voters. Let's now bring in NBC News senior national political reporter Sahil Kapoor. Sahil, good to see you this morning. Your latest reporting is taking a look at Trump's escalating rhetoric. It is noteworthy how darker it has gotten just in recent days. Tell us more about what you found.
That's right, Jonathan. Well, this kind of rhetoric has always been somewhere in Trump's stump speech, but he's really dialed it up now in his third campaign, and especially in the closing stretch to Election Day. Just a few days ago, he called his rival Kamala Harris a criminal while talking about immigration policy. In recent weeks and months, he's said a whole host of things should be illegal, should be outlawed, including an edit of a 60 Minutes news package that he disapproved of. He said exclusion of certain context from his January 6th speech should be illegal. He said criticizing his judges and justices who he appointed and who rule in alignment with him should be outlawed and should come with penalties. And he's also, as you just played there, talked about using the military on so-called enemies from within. Now, experts who study this stuff see parallels to authoritarian leaders in this idea that dissent and criticism is illegitimate. Let's take a look at what one of them, Ruth Ben-Ghiat, told me. Quote, "This is out of the autocratic playbook as autocrats consolidate their power once they're in office. Anything that threatens their power or exposes their corruption or releases information that's harmful to them in any way becomes illegal." She goes on to say that Trump is, quote, "actually rehearsing in a sense what he would be doing as head of state, which is what Orban in Hungary does, Modi in India is doing, and Putin in Russia has long done." She argues that telling the truth, any kind of objective inquiry, becomes a criminal element and needs to be shut down under this philosophy. Now, here's what gets interesting, Jonathan. At a recent Trump rally I spoke to a number of his voters about this, and even a number of his own rally goers are not on board with this idea of retribution and revenge. You see it riles up some of them, but others say he should focus on the economy. One of them told me that his best revenge would be to get elected and improve the economy, not to, to sink to the level of his critics. This was the view of that voter. And that kind of explains the larger dynamic here. As important as this stuff is, it is concerns about the economy, it is issues like immigration that are likely to motivate his voters to continue supporting him, even if they disapprove of this side of him. And that's especially true in places like Erie County, Pennsylvania, where economic concerns are very likely to carry the day. Still, among Harris voters, this is a huge issue, preserving democracy, and it's motivating many of them.
So, Sahil, Kamala Harris is headed back to Pennsylvania today. In fact, right there in Erie County, which is where you are. This is part of a week-long blitz that she and Governor Walz will be holding in those three blue wall states. But let's zero in on Erie County and Harris today. What should we expect to hear?
That's right. Kamala Harris is rallying in this city of Erie, Pennsylvania, in this bellwether county that has a knack for predicting which way Pennsylvania ultimately goes. A Harris campaign official telling us that she will lay out her agenda, her vision for the country, which she calls a new way forward, and encourage Pennsylvanians to vote early and cast their ballot. Take a look at how Erie County has voted in recent elections. 2008, Barack Obama won. 2012, Barack Obama won. 2016, Donald Trump won. 2020, Biden won. What do they all have in common? They all carried Pennsylvania. They all became president. This is one of the bellwether counties in the quintessential bellwether state that both campaigns are focusing heavily on. One person who's going to be there is Senator John Fetterman, the Democrat who carried Erie County by about 9 points en route to victory in 2022, becoming a senator. He told me, quote, "Pennsylvania is like a smaller version of America, and Erie is like a smaller version of Pennsylvania." He says he believes Erie is the top bellwether county in this Commonwealth, and he said if you can't sell it in Erie, then it's going to be really difficult to sell that across Pennsylvania. We will see how well Kamala Harris's message sells here in Erie, and she's also got campaign stops planned later this week in the other so-called blue wall states of Michigan and Wisconsin. Jonathan, this could be crucial to Kamala Harris's hope. She needs these states, especially given polls showing headwinds in the Sun Belt states like Georgia and Arizona, which Biden carried last time. Even Nevada looking tougher for her this time. But if she carries these states and wins that one congressional district around Omaha, Nebraska, she's home. 270 electoral votes.
NBC's Sahil Kapoor, thank you so much. Both of his pieces are available to read now at NBCnews.com.